page and Bukidnon Bulls YouTube channel. Bukidnon Bulls Transforming Schools, Breaking Limits. I am your host, Sarah M. Mancao, and my co-host is Darrell T. Macario.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Ma'am Sar. And of course, good afternoon to our 404 Facebook Live viewers.
Today, another learning episode is set for all of us instructional leaders and our teaching personnel. This is on
Orientation on the most essential learning competencies or MELCs implementation monitoring tool.
To start with, let us pay in attention for the salute to the land and our prayer.
Ama naming sumasalangit, salamat sa iyong yakap na mahigpit. Sa likod ng pagsubok na pinagdadaanan, ramdam naming hindi mo kami pinabayaan. Ngayong bagong taon, narito kaming muli, ipinapasalangit ang panalangin ng bawat paslit.
Apo Diyos, malpasod ko man ang COVID-19, tamakay-ayam akasinistay kwento.
Sana po matapos na ang pandemyang ito. Nais ko na pong bumalik sa aming paaralan at doon matuto kasama ang aking mga kaklase at mga guro.
Diyos Amay, masantos na makapanyaring amin. Yagalangan ni sungalan mo. At sayan balong taon, tuturuan ko, Diyos, sa katawan ni Kumul, kasumpanlayan pandemya. Kunabigla rin magsasakit ka totoo, na nangapulay na damay aron, at sayan COVID-19.
Ako Diyos, sapay ko ma, taiti sumambay atawen, ayat, kapya, ken panagkaykaysa, iti agarit idubo.
Gato, adawan ko pa rin mo, buka pa rin ko naman siya malukagay. Mabos na tao, as ka naman siya yan, abos yung face mask.
Ufunam mo ikami, tasay mabalin kami, kanyo ikayat mo nga babalinan mi. Ituldom ni kami yo mapyangan, dalanan mi. Taronan mo yo panonot, uvovog antare aguyuguyumi.
Sana pula ng COVID-19 para makapunta na peniskwela agit ko na larang kaklasiko por mesla.
Usap na balyanan sa Spanya, sige memo kasiya sa pagayon. Nangos kalyaman COVID-19 ay patagayan namin kada ang adal sa siko. Kanya wendaran ang pagetan sa
Jesus, yung papangaji ko po na mawara na po ang COVID-19 virus na magkaigwa na po bulong na makapaayad po sa amon para makita ko na po si ma'am ng mga kaklase ko para makapunta na po sa mas kinanong lugar. In Jesus' name, Amen.
Napangamuno kaginaandong ko, akunta ni sa bagong tuig, paiway kita sa makatalagang nga mga tion, malapuwasan nato ng mga pagtilaw, kag mabatyagan nato ang paghamon sa nagakinahanglan kag nakulangan.
Kapag
Amahan nga makagagahom sa tanan ang akong pangamuyo sa bag-ong tuig, labi untang maghari ang tinuod nga gugma sa usag usa ug hinluan mo na unta ang tanang sakit nga ani karon sa kalibutan aron magmalipayon ug magmalinawon ang tanan.
Ginoo, bendisyon it amon nason, labi na it amon pamilya. Hiramam answer it amon frontliners ngan mga opisyales. Magpasigi it imo pagprotekta haamon para liwat magpadayon it amon pag-aram para it am maupay nga kabubwason.
Ojalá que el Dios Todopoderoso dale cada salud, prosperidad, amor y compasión entero año y el mga año que vengan.
Palayuon niyo ang buhasin pangatayan ko sa gaman ko kakusugon in pagkahagat o sin pagpapanjari.
Liwatan ni Bubaya, Juman ko dahos pinangin po turindan niya, bagayan mo henami misiba katubod nawan, dahos misiba sa darabit magiskila.
Ya Allah, pakambarakatangkar kami adiyang kai ako maaragon.
Sang musud na bagong tuig, kaluyan kita ni magbabaya, nawa day maraat na mahitabo sang kanato palibot. Makatagamtam niyang tanan ng madayaw na kinabuhi, likod sang bisan unan pa na hagit ng panahon. Sikira kita tanan, wa day isipon nakahadlok sang kanato kasing-kasing, kay awang Ginoo sang kanato kinabuhi.
Kum mafasang wata, nun lamot yung kum klawil, taybang yung kum kagdayan kom. Salamat ma, pekat nun blayam, bekulag kam mislo. Amin bekum fet fest lawo, classmate, amin bekum dumusuwa. Uud wata hal tumabang kum, ket kum soto. Bumlay magkagis, nakat nun. Amin kasa soto nawa, bayam lomi halay na bud kum snalo.
Dayon ni, napasalamat kami di gudwata, di kablem kami dad kasgalak, pamlay kami gan, hignagan mi dad tilong, tas naba mi dad hiyug kod, iksitong mi salami fon.
Panaliti ang amo mga kanila sa mga katalagman sa COVID-19. Ibulang kami sa amo mga kalisatan. Palihog ipadaya sa amo ang Espiritu Santo. Karangahan kami sa amo mga katalagman. Hindi ang ato. Inaagin ni Kristo na amo Ginoo. Amen.
Hindi man namin alam ang hinaharap, hindi kami matatakot dahil ikaw ang aming sandalan. Alam naming bawat isa sa amin ay iyong poprotektahan at gagabayan ang buong kagawaran ngayong 2021. Amen.
Again, good afternoon, everyone. It is indeed gratifying to find people with happy faces. Also, happy to know that we have a lot of participants of this live stream. This time, let us put our hands together as we listen to our CID Chief, Dr. Albert R. Francisco, for his message and statement of purpose.
Beautiful ka. Okay na? Well, good afternoon to all of us. My respect to our school's division superintendent, Dr. Randolph Bitortola, to our two assistant schools division superintendents, Dr. Lanila M. Palapar and Dr. ODS Bores, to our education program supervisors, district supervisors, and teachers, and of course to the host of this orientation, Dr. Mangkao and Mr. Daryl Macario. Again, good afternoon. Now we are on our 5th month of the implementation of the modular distance learning. And this is, I think, the first time when our division of Bukidnon implemented this learning modality. Since this is our first time and nobody did prepare himself for this, even our officials, our teachers, and our students. Thus, even at the start, we were able to encounter some issues and concerns. Number one is the materials to be used for this modular distance learning and the readiness, of course, of our teachers and students. Now, on the first issue, we were able to address that by preparing modules to be used by our students and teachers. And take note that these modules were then prepared based on the most essential learning competencies, the MELCs. But on the second issue, the readiness of our teachers and students, until now, that remains to be an issue, especially on the part of our students. Now, when we visited some of our schools in the division and asked some of our teachers regarding the utilization of these modules, one of the issues that was then raised by them was the difficulties encountered by our students, especially the students without somebody assisting them. Now, what we did was, we encouraged our field officials, our school principals, even our district supervisors to implement the blended learning modality. And what is this all about? Now, our students have their modules, and we encourage our school officials to have this radio-based instruction partner with the modular instruction. So far, we have this number of schools that are now implementing radio-based instruction and modular instruction. So because of these difficulties of our students, that nobody is assisting them in terms of, or guiding them in terms of working on their modules, then perhaps I have this expectation that at the end of the school year, we still have some competencies which cannot be met by our students. Now, because of this, I may request all of you, our teachers, our principals, school heads, and our district supervisors to please find ways in which we can extend assistance to our students. And I would like to tell you by now that we need to take radio-based instruction seriously. Otherwise, the problems that we have today, then that would be the same problems that we'll have next year. What is this problem? If our grades 1, 2, and 3 students, pagkakaroon cannot read, then this number, if let us say some of them will be promoted to grade 4 next year, then there will be this additional grade level composed of students who are not good in reading and comprehension. That is why, even if we have these difficulties on working on our modules, we have our radio-based instruction, then we need to take this seriously so that by next year, we'll not have the same problems and issues as what we have today. Now today, we have this orientation on the implementation of this most essential learning competencies monitoring tool. Now, this orientation is very important. Why? The correctness of the entries on the tools is of great importance. Dr. Mangkao will be discussing to you issues and concerns regarding the implementation of this MELCs monitoring tool. And it is my hope, of course, that you have to accomplish the tool properly. Why? Because the information that we'll be providing is of great importance to our officials, to our superintendents, and to our higher officials, because this information will be used in the formulation of policies that can affect curriculum and instruction. So to all of you, good afternoon and good luck.
Thank you, Sir Albert. We shall now start our orientation proper. So to our school heads, to our public schools district supervisors, teachers, make sure that you are now in your most comfortable place and listen well to our activity. Be ready with your notebook and of course with your pen, for we shall explore the MELCs monitoring tool. And to share this, we have our education program supervisor, Dr. Sarah Mancao. So all right, are you now ready to embark and have fun? Ma'am Sar, please take it away, ma'am.
Thank you, Sir Darrell. Most essential learning competencies monitoring tool. Why do we have this MELCs monitoring tool? The survey is aimed at gathering feedback on the implementation of the MELCs to help the department obtain essential information for formulating curriculum policy in the future. Please take note, teachers, that your responses to this monitoring tool will be kept strictly confidential and will be shared only with the Bureau conducting the study following the Republic Act or RA 10173 or the Data Privacy Act of 2012. There are 4 parts of the MELCs monitoring tool. One is the respondent's profile. Second, sufficiency of MELCs. Third, effects of MELCs in the teaching and learning process, and issues and gaps in the MELCs implementation. Let us journey together the parts of the tool. First, respondent's profile. In here, there are 10 items. One is name. When you write your name, it can be that you're going to omit or not that you're going to write your name, but of course it can also be optional. Then your age. The years of teaching experience in basic education. Of course, your gender. And number 5, the subject that you are teaching. Now, there are a lot of learning areas here. So, you are only required to choose one. Only one. For those with multiple teaching loads, so for example, you have English, you have Filipino, and mathematics. You are going to have only one. And who's going to decide what learning area are you going to choose? It is going to be your principal who will identify as to who will answer on that learning area so that all subjects are represented. Other subjects here are for the senior high school. So you have their list of subjects under core subjects. Then you have subjects under applied subjects like empowerment technologies, English for academic and professional purposes, entrepreneurship, Filipino sa piling larang, inquiries, investigation, and immersion, and research 1 and 2. You also have subjects under academic track, the STEM specialized. Then, academic track for ABM specialization and UMS. Then you also have their arts and design subjects. Then, sports track and TVL track. All the subjects under the different tracks are listed here. Remember, you are going to choose only one. Number 6 item under respondent's profile is the grade level being taught. Again, you have to choose one only. So, for example, you are teaching Filipino grade 3. So, on number 5, you have there Filipino, and then your answer for number 6 is grade 3. And then next item for respondent's profile is the region. So you are going to tick region 10. For item number 8, you will have their division. So of course, you're going to write there division of Bukidnon. And then for number 9 item, school. So provide the name of the school where you are assigned. Let's go to the number 10 item. The school typology based on the number of teachers. So choices are small, medium, large, and mega. So your basis would be the lists or the category and the number of teachers under the national, no? So for example, your school has only 35 teachers for the elementary. What's going to be your category? Okay, correct. You're going to take large school. What about the secondary? If there are 23 teachers in Vistabilia National High School, what is the category of Vistabilia? Yes, medium school, because there's a range there for 10 to 25 teachers. The second part is sufficiency of MELCs. In here, you have 9 items. Your responses, teachers, will be through a Likert scale. You have there 5 for strongly agree, 4 for agree, 3 for disagree, 2 for strongly disagree, and 1 for no chance to observe. So there are 9 items here. For example, you have there number 8, the MELCs prepare the learners for the next grade level. What is your response to this? So you may have number 4. You can have number 4, or you can have also number 5. So answers are 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. For the third part of the monitoring tool, it is effects of MELCs in teaching and learning process. There are 5 items here. Item number 1 is, what learning modality or modalities do you mostly employ? Choose all that apply. So for our division, do we have self-learning module? Yes. Do we have online learning? Some? No? Yes? Okay, you may tick there. Then, do we have TV-based instruction? Do we have radio-based instruction in our school? Okay, that would be your choices for your answer for number 1. For number 2, you are going to rank your mechanism in contacting your learners. So, for example, how often do you call through phone your learners? Is it most frequently, or is it the least frequently used? So, you're going to put there 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay? So, that's for number 2. For number 3 item under effects of MELCs, you have there, regardless of the learning modalities, I employ all competencies in my learning area can be taught during crisis situation. Okay, now here you have to use the scale 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Same is true with item number 4. The item says, all competencies in my learning area can be assessed. So if your answer is you strongly agree on the item, or on the sentence, then you're going to have to tick number 5. Item number 5 for part 3. You have there, what distance learning modality do you find facilitative or helpful, efficient in teaching your subject given the current setup? You tick all that apply. For example, there is self-learning module. Check. Online learning, no, so do not tick it. TV-based instruction, no, do not tick it. Radio-based instruction, check or tick it, and then you have there your others. So for part 3, you only have 5 items. Again, for item 1, for part 1, you have 10 items. For part 2, you have 9. For part 3, you have 5. And the last part of the monitoring tool, which is issues and gaps in the MELCs implementation, there are only 4. And in here, you are going to have, again, the Likert scale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 as your response to each item. For example, number 2, there are MELCs which cover broad topics that need unpacking and subtasking. If you have encountered those topics, then you may say that you strongly agree, or you say, I simply agree. I'm now going to show you the actual online tool. The monitoring tool, actual online tool. This is now the cover page of the monitoring tool. On the right bottom part is the forward button to proceed to the next page. Then you have there pages on respondents' profile. There you can see sample for K to grade 10, selecting the grade level prompts you to the subject being taught in that grade level. So you have there the drop down buttons. So just simply use the drop down buttons. Another picture of the monitoring tool is the page on sufficiency of MELCs. Okay? In here, it is stated here that you have to make sure to answer all items to proceed to the next page. And then, another picture of the page on the effects of MELCs in teaching and learning process. Okay, using again the button, using again the different buttons, the drop down buttons. Okay, and then another slide there is for the issues and gaps on MELCs implementation. Right. Now, all teaching personnel, again, all teaching personnel are enjoined to answer the online survey through the link that you can see there on the screen. And this link will be available from February 15 to March 15, 2021. I repeat, the link will only be open from February 15 to March 15, 2021. This is 1 month to give ample time for those teachers who are assigned in an area where there is difficulty in accessing the internet. I have listed some points to remember for you teachers. Now, who will answer the survey? Who will answer the survey? All public teachers from kindergarten to senior high school. In other words, the private school teachers are not included in this survey. Only the public teachers from kindergarten to senior high school. School heads will identify as to who will answer the following learning areas. As mentioned, elementary is generalists. So, there's going to be a problem because in one of the items in the profile, respondent's profile, there's going to be only one subject taught. So, you principal, you school heads should arrange well on the subjects that each teacher will pick to answer the survey. The regional and division office will remind you, school heads, to direct all your teachers in the field to answer the survey. Our management team of this monitoring are the CID personnel. And these CID personnel are education program supervisors, our public schools district supervisors, and the district in charge. It is said that no target percentage for the responses. But then, remember that we are going to get the best result, credible result, for us to make a policy in the future. So the higher, the better turnout. But for Bukidnon, we shall have 100% of our teachers to answer the survey to attain credible results. Okay ba, mga teachers? Okay, that's great. Another thing that we should remember about this tool is this is downloadable and it is user-friendly. And a teacher will only answer once. I repeat, a teacher will only answer once. And this survey is for regular program only, no for special curricular. So only those schools offering regular program will respond to this survey. Those with special curricular, you go for the regular program. Okay. I guess that ends my presentation. I'm going to turn over you now to my co-host, Sir Darrell, to give you the video presentation on how to navigate the monitoring tool. Take it away, Sir Darrell.
All right. Thank you so much, Ma'am Sar, for your very informative na presentation with regards to the MELCs monitoring tool. Before I will present to you the video presentation on how to accomplish the actual MELC monitoring tool, I just would like to emphasize that this tool, since online man siya, no, so pinaka-basic is that the teacher must be connected to the internet before siya maka-access for the MELC monitoring tool. Alright? And then, this monitoring tool also will not require your DepEd emails. Okay? Unlike with the previous surveys, previous forms that central office, the division office have flowed to the field na mag-require siya og DepEd email. But this time, since we are aiming 100% turnaround sa tuang respondents, so the central office has designed the online tool which it will not require you to have your DepEd email address. Okay? So again, the tool will be open starting February 15. Although if you will open that link now, that's bit.ly/surveymelcs. If you will open that one, pwede na siya. But please bear in mind that the actual date of submission of the survey will commence on February 15 and it will end on March 15. So the span is 1 month siya. So karon, orientation lang sa ta. We will not answer the monitoring tool yet. Alright? So, as presented, I will now discuss. I will now present to you the sample video demonstration on the actual MELC monitoring tool.
Okay. Dear friends, this is the actual monitoring tool that we have developed in coordination with Actor C. And so on the first on the screen, you have here the opening statement that signifies we are treating the data that would be gathered on this survey with strict confidentiality, and that only the bureau, that is the BCD, would be uh, uh, can see the data in this survey tool. There is a forward arrow at the bottom right portion of the survey tool, in which case you may proceed. In this case, let me actually answer the survey tool to show you how easy it is to navigate on this. You may write your name. You may or may write your name. That is optional. In this case, let me write my name. And then I am male. I just click here. The age range had already been provided. I am on this age range. The number of years of teaching experience, there are scales there that had been provided, less than 2, 2 to 4, 5 to 7, 8 to 10. If you are teaching for more than 10 years, you just click on that. And then the grade level you are teaching, if you are, whether you are a kindergarten teacher or an elementary or junior high school or a senior high school teacher. Let me click number 10. I have clicked on that. And then I may click the bottom right arrow to proceed to the next set of questions. Indicated here are the subjects that you probably may be teaching, because I have indicated that I'm a grade 10 teacher. That shows me a screen in which the choices are the different subjects in grade 10. Let me click science. And then I proceed with the question. I proceed rather with the tool. Let me write my school and then the division in which it is located. By the way, these are blank, so you have to write it. You have to indicate your school. And then my school belongs to the division of Bataan. So I write there Bataan, and that is located in region 3. The different regions are already in the pull down menu, and you just have to click on it. And then once you are done with that specific page, you may click on the forward arrow at the bottom right portion. And then it will show you the next set of questions, which are actually the actual questions on the MELCs, the questions involving about the school's topology. In this case, you have to choose whether your school is a small, medium, large, or a mega school, depending on the number of teachers. Say if your school has 11 teachers, you may click medium. Well, my school has about 40 teachers, so it is classified as large, so I click on large. Then I click on the forward button. Now we start with the actual questions on the second part. So you have here questions regarding the terms of coverage, progression, learners' preparation, and then the acquisition of the 21st century skills. Now, the choices are a 5-point Likert scale, with the fifth choice having no chance to observe. So you have here the question: the MELCs in my learning area per quarter can be covered. If I think it is, if I have seen from the MELCs provided that it can be covered in a quarter, then I would choose strongly agree. If I disagree with this statement, then I may choose the other choices. I may click disagree or strongly disagree. The idea here is you already have the choices, so you just have to click. So the second question: the MELCs consider the prerequisite knowledge and skills which are emphasized in the lower grades. Now, looking into the list of learning competencies in the MELCs, I can decipher whether the prerequisite knowledge and skills were already emphasized in the lower grades, in which case I could come up here with my answer as strongly agree or any of the other choices. The other questions includes the following. The MELCs are aligned with the content standards in the grade levels, same choices. The MELCs are aligned with the performance in the grade levels, same choices, the 5-point Likert scale. The MELCs are aligned with the grade level standards, same choices. And the last two questions includes the MELCs give me time to promote, rather the last several questions includes the following. The MELCs give me time to promote mastery of the knowledge and skills among learners. You have here the choices. The MELCs reflect the learning of the 21st century skills like learning and innovation skills, media information and technology skills, life and career skills, and communication skills. And then there is also a question which asks whether the knowledge and skills contained in the MELCs prepare the learners for the next grade level. And the MELCs allow me to plan for and meet the individual learner's needs and interests. So you just click your answer, and then you click the forward button. By the way, you need to answer all these questions. You need to come up with answers to all of these questions before you can proceed with the next set of questions, and that would be before clicking the forward button on the lower right hand corner of your screen. So we have here questions on the effects of MELCs in the teaching and learning process. Like what I have mentioned before, in the first question, you may choose all that apply. Say, what modalities do you commonly employ? So I use learning module, and I also use online learning through an online platform organized by the school. Now, the second question is to be answered using the 5-point Likert scale. Regardless of the learning modalities I employ, all competencies in my learning area can be taught during crisis situation or in situations where there is an unusual disruption of classes. Like, say, if I agree, I just have to click on agree, and then I proceed to the next question. Rank the following platforms or mechanisms based on the frequency of use in communicating with your learners. You have to indicate which is most frequent and the least frequent by arranging this by indicating the number. So let's say I do most. I communicate with my students mostly through text messaging, and then I do online messaging. Say, for example, and then I do phone call because it's a bit expensive, so it's my third option. And then I use printed or handwritten letter, which is given out by the school. That is, and if I use other options like through the barangay personnel, that would be my least frequently used because I seldom do that. So you just have to indicate there 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, depending on which is the most frequent and which is the least frequent. Now, question number 4: all learning competencies in my learning area can be assessed. If that is, the learning competencies that have been specified in the MELCs in your learning area could be assessed. I mean, the responses, you can make a distinction whether the students are actually learning or not. And so if you strongly agree, you may click this one. Otherwise, you may choose from the other choices. And what distance, rather the last question, what distance learning modality do you find most facilitative or most efficient or helpful in teaching your subject area given the current setup? Well, if I would say it is the self-learning module and online learning, it is the self-learning module because it's the most that in which case the my students are most responsive and they can actually learn most through this, then I click on this one. And then that's the last question on this part of the survey tool. I have already answered all the questions here, and so I may click the forward button. So we now have the questions on the fourth part, which are the issues and gaps in the MELCs implementation. This sets of questions, as I have mentioned before, would like to find out the extent on how much you agree or disagree with the following sentences as regards the issues and gaps in the implementation of the MELCs. Now, question number one is stated this way. There are important learning competencies in the K-12 curriculum guide that were not included in the MELCs. If I think there were LCs or learning competencies that had been left, it was in the original CG, and I think it's very important, and it was not in the MELCs, then I would say that I would agree with this. Say I would click on agree. Otherwise, if I believe that all the important learning competencies were provided in the MELCs with respect to the grade level, content and performance standards, I would disagree or strongly disagree with that. The second question, there are MELCs which cover broad topics that needs unpacking and subtasking. And the learning competencies listed in the MELCs are very broad that they still need unpacking and subtasking. So if I agree, I click on agree. The third question, there are MELCs which are specific that can no longer be translated into simpler learning objectives. That is, the MELCs already appear like they are already the learning objectives to be written in the daily plan. If I agree with that statement, I click on agree. Otherwise, I may click on the other choices. And then the last question, based on your experience, which among the following factors helped in the implementation of the MELCs? Choose all that apply, in which case I may click on any of these. All those I think are factors that are very important in helping the implementation of the MELCs. You may choose any or all of these, which is 1 or 2 and 3 and 4. And if you think there are others that are not listed here, you may click on the last choice, that is others. And then that's it. That's you may click on the forward button, and then that would bring you to a page that indicates you are done with the survey tool. That is, the survey tool can be accomplished in a few minutes, maybe 3 to 5 minutes, more or less. And the choices are already there. You just have to click. There are minimal questions in which you actually have to type the answers.
All right. So that is our video tutorial on how to accomplish the actual MELC monitoring tool. Okay, so just a bit of recap our monitoring tool has 4 parts. Okay, first is on the respondent's profile. Okay, second is on the sufficiency on MELCs. Third part is on the effects of MELCs in the teaching learning process. And the last part is the issues and gaps on MELCs implementation. Okay, so each of the parts dapat po ninyo siya ansiran because all fields in that survey except for the name, which is optional, and the rest of the fields are required. Okay? So again, the tool will be open starting February 15 until March 15. And who will accomplish this form? All the public school teachers in the DepEd Bukidnon. Okay? So as you have known, this monitoring tool was developed by our central office. So there's no way for the division office, there's no way for us here at the division to monitor kaning inyuhang submission, since pag human ninyo og accomplish ani nga form, it will go directly to the central office. So with that, we come up with our own mechanism here in the division office to monitor your submission. Okay? So teachers, kindly take a picture now of my slide on your screen, because I will now change my slide. Okay, so after you have responded to our survey tool, okay, so visit this second link, okay, that's bit.ly/confirm survey book. Okay, again, bit.ly/confirm survey book. Okay, so unsay sulod ana siya nga link. So I will show you. Let me present to you my screen again. Okay? So if you will access that link, so kani siya Google form. Okay, in where you have to enter your first name, your last name, and then you select your district. Okay, and then you have to select also your school ID, and then your school name. Okay, after which, you have to tick the box below which says that I have signified that I have responded the survey on the implementation of the MELCs. Okay, so why are we doing this? Because the division office, SDO Bukidnon, will use this mechanism to track the actual submission of DepEd Bukidnon teachers. Okay, since we have data on how many teachers per school, per district, okay, so with this, we can monitor through our curriculum implementation division with our education program supervisors and our PSDSS, and also with our DICs, so we can help follow up the schools kung galing man low inyuhang submission for our MELCs monitoring tool. Okay? So, don't forget, kindly take a picture or take down notes of our link after you have answered the survey tool, kaninga link, bit.ly/survey MELCs. After that, you go directly to our second link, that's bit.ly/confirm survey book, to respond to our division monitoring tool. Alright? So, this time, I hope everything is clear with you guys. So, this time, we will like to shout out ang mga live viewers. Okay? We have reached a while ago mga 800 plus here in Facebook Live. 899, and also in YouTube Live, we have 21 viewers. Okay, so this time we are now open for your questions. If ever you have some questions, this is now the time that you can type here in our Facebook Live, in our comment box, or in our YouTube Live, in our live chat for your questions and clarifications. Okay, if wala mo'y question, pwede pod mo mag-type of suggestions or unsa ba kaha. Okay, so we will wait for your questions, answers, and suggestions. Okay, so we have question here from Ma'am Salahuddin. Good PM po Sir Darrell. Sa ikaduhan na link, need po ba ang DepEd email account? Okay, very good question, ma'am. For the second link, I have not required nga dapat nagya po yung DepEd email account so that mag-coordinate siya with our first link. Kailangan pod kaayo nga you were able to answer in the first link, then with our monitoring you cannot answer because you don't have the DepEd email. Okay, so for the second link, it will also not require a valid DepEd email. Okay? But I strongly suggest, since kita man ang ga-manage for your DepEd emails, okay, so we suggest that you have to retrieve or you have to activate your DepEd emails. Or how to activate it if ever you don't have one. Kindly download Division Memorandum number 178, series of 2020. In there, you will find the Excel form that you have to accomplish. Then you will send it to my email. And then I will send back. I will reply to your email, Dayon. Okay? So there's no need for you to come here to Division Office. So, do we have another question? Sir, pwede mi makapangayo og link kay putol-putol jud amo signal. Alright. So, for those who are not able to capture all the instructions with our orientation this afternoon, you may replay our online orientation through our Facebook page or through our YouTube channel. Okay, so there's no need for you to worry because you can always watch this one through a replay after nato ma-end ang live stream. Alright? So, do we have any other question? Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Okay, si Ma'am Maria Socorro Halasan, second link, please. So, here's the second link, Ma'am. Flash on your screen. So, that's bit.ly confirm survey book. Okay, so again, point of clarification, you have to answer two different links. First one is the survey tool itself, and the second one is the division monitoring for those who have responded to our survey. Alright? So, none so far, said Ma'am Maribeth Pabiliaran. Thank you, Ma'am. Very well said. Thank you, Ma'am Daisy. Congratulations, Sir Albert, Ma'am Sarah, and Sir Daryl. Thank you po, Ma'am, for your active participation. Okay? Sir Edgardo Coming, how about sir nga wala pa school ID? Okay? Sir Ed, for your schools nga wala pa school ID, I will not require the form nga dapat na siya school ID. Okay? So you can also continue answering the form even if you don't have yet your school ID. So you can type it na lang dayon dito. Okay? So any more question? Ma'am Sar?
I guess there are no more questions, no more queries. Sir Da, we have answered to the best of our ability to answer all your queries.
Okay, so I guess that's all for today.
That's all for today, Sir Daryl.
Yes, Ma'am Sar. We have a very productive afternoon. I hope everyone
I agree with you.
has all the information na capture good nila no this afternoon's orientation. So this is your host for today's orientation on the implementation of the most essential learning competencies monitoring tool. This is Darrell.
And this is Sarah. Your host
for this FB live stream and also with YouTube live stream. So have a good day, everyone.
Stay safe, everyone, and be compliant. God bless.